Greetings, I am Ayush Mittal, a professional author, and today we are here with plot creation tips and ideas. This was the most requested video of the last time, so here we are. So, now how to create a plot. What is actually a plot? Plot basically contains all the main events that make up your story. If you're writing any story, you will need a plot. A plot is always compulsory in the story. These events are usually related to each other and they affect each other in a pattern or a sequence. So, generally, a plot is suggested to be new and crispy, and you have to try and introduce something new to the genre. For example, if there is a genre of fantasy, try introducing something which no one has ever tried. Try introducing something which people generally do not think about. Just don't introduce the same things again and again which have already been introduced. Especially with famous books. If there's a famous book on some specific genre of a genre, what I mean is, for example, we are taking a fantasy genre. I am just giving a random example. And we talk about wizards, which is related to fantasy genre. Now, there's a very pretty famous book about wizards, which is Harry Potter. So, I would suggest do not go exactly on that track of the wizards. You could take some other, thing about wizards, like they do not have a wizardry school or something else, but do not follow the same track. So that is what we mean by a plot should be new and crispy. Now we will be discussing steps important in making a plot. So the first step, as I told, is choosing a genre. Your genre really matters. Second step is to think of a problem. So any plot should have a problem and a solution. So firstly, you have to think of the problem, create the problem so that the readers get interested. Third, you have to make characters. I would be making a video specifically for character formation. Fourthly is cliffhangers. Now, what is cliffhanger is many people get very confused. So cliffhanger is mainly for novels. So in cliffhangers, basically, what you do is that you actually keep the reader engaged. So what I mean here is that in a cliffhanger, you will be keeping a, there is a key to the cliffhangers, which is a question mark. You have to keep a suspense which engages the reader, which connects to the reader, and you have to reveal it later. I would suggest reveal it at the end. So that is very important in a plot because that makes the plot crispy. Now, lastly, many people they decide a problem and they think that when we are completely, halfway through the story, we'll think of a solution. You should not do that. Your complete plot, should be ready before you start writing. Next, you to frame it up in a sequence manner. So there are many ways you can do that. One is just write small. So basically, what I do is I would firstly create a book planner which will have only the keywords of the plot. And secondly, I would then convert it into a table which will have detailed information and framed plot. Now, there's another way of writing the plot, which is the paragraph format, which I would not personally suggest. But yes, many people use it, so you could use it. But I do not like using the paragraph format, and I will be talking about that soon. Now, let's talk about why choosing a genre is important. So, generally, people think that genre, what is a genre? You just have to choose fiction, non fiction, or something like that. No, genres should be very specific. You should have at least 3 to 4 genres ready before you write. For example, there is in fantasy genre, there is dark fantasy, there is gothic fantasy, there is mythological fantasy, And in mythological fantasy itself, there are more subtypes. So you should have a specific genre, you could have a unique genre, or you could have a used genre. That is completely up to you. You can even mix two genres. So now why is genre important? Because the genre changes the way you make a plot. So for example, humor will have a very simplistic plot with a lot of comedy and etc. So it will have more of precision and definition which is not included in the plot. A plot is like a sum up of what is happening throughout. It is like a summary, but a detailed summary, which has everything covered, and it should be a structured summary. Now, fantasy would have a very complicated plot because fantasy is like full of a lot of things, especially fantasy novels. They have a very complicated plot. So now here is an example of a plot. So I generally arrange my plot in a tabular form. This is a plot I made a few years back and it is of the motivational genre. So your plot, I would suggest to use a tabular form because sometimes you generally forget what you want to add. And when you arrange it in a tabular form and you also side by side start writing the keywords, it becomes really easy for you to remember while you're writing. Sometimes you forget the frame, you forget the structure, and many a times reading a whole paragraph or maybe a whole page gets really difficult. And trust me, I have even seen plots which exceed 20 pages. And this would also be, I suppose, a one page plot, but I have shortened it up so it's really easy to understand. So here basically the orange represents the solutions, the blue represents the problems, the white represents the general things, and the black represents the end. So the general things such as the genre. So genre, I have chosen a motivational genre. It's a short story, non-fiction, and optimistic learning. So here, because it was a motivational genre which does not have many subtypes, it was not important to choose a specific genre in motivational. I have chosen only four genres for this short story. So the title, I have kept a simplistic title, which is Brian Learns Not to Be Overconfident. Now, next thing is the story. What does it revolve around? It revolves around it revolves around a village where a girl is there who wants to become an actress. Now, we will be talking about the symbolism in the story. Confidence is symbolized through punctuations. I will be telling you the story too. So, yeah. After that, I will be talking about the girl. The girl's name is Ryan. She lives in a poor village and she grows up to be an actor. And she's the only successful person in the whole village. So, that is what makes her overconfident. So, this is the main plot. Now, so after that, she hates her instructor as he corrects her. So basically, because she's overconfident, she starts hating her instructor. Wants to change her instructor, but her application does not pass. So we are right now on this one. Now we move to the first one. So she fails her next film, and her next film was a huge loss. The company gives her a last chance. Girl still overconfident. The instructor gives her a piece of parchment with punctuation after every word. So basically, the plot is basically about a girl who's very overconfident. She fails, but she's still overconfident. She thinks that she can do anything because she's the only successful person in the village. So her instructor, he gives her a piece of parchment with a punctuation after every word. So he gives her the parchment and he tells her to read it. So she gets really confused, and then comes the moral. Like he tells that now these punctuations. Punctuations are something which is very useful. But if used in access, the sentence makes no sense. So that becomes the moral. So this was one of the plot I had used a few years back in a story. So here is an example of a structured plot. So thank you for watching. And if you want to, give me more suggestions or you have any doubts, I will be linking my email address, etc., down below in the description box. So you could mail me there. And thank you for watching. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.